So connections circles are another approach designed to help the coachee reflect on the resources and connections that they have. So looking back to our GROW model, the connection circles might show that there are some connections that are missing or that they're lost, and that needs to also be acknowledged. And from this, we might generate some ideas about connections that they may not realize they have. Maybe a rugby coach is a plumber, and in a couple of years, they might like to offer them an apprenticeship. It might be an option. So it's about teasing out all those connections. The balance circle is another good self-coaching tool. Ultimately, it's going to show it's got too little, just right, or too much. So ideally, we want all of those quarters to be coloured in at the just right for that person. So it's going to be different for everybody. And there's a few activities you can do to generate discussion and self-evaluation around that. And of course, linking it back to the GROW model, we want to finish off with a way forward. So if it was discovered by that tool that there's too much mental side going on, what can we do? What's the next specific step you can do in the coming week? What's our way forward to resolve that problem? Okay, favourite things circles are a really good way of discovering what some untrue self-beliefs about among the group. Okay, the next section goes into making decisions. So the second half of the program deals with generating ideas for careers and narrowing down on them. Here's our RISEC wheel by John Holland. We're going to use a simplified version. Richard Bowles describes that his version, it's the party exercise where you describe the type of people instead of having a list of careers in those fields. You describe the type of people. You're at a party. You've got 3 choices. Who are you going to move from which group from 1 to 3? And I love how Richard described this as 92% accurate in predicting the 3-letter score. After doing that, we can generate job ideas from going to careers.gov.nz, which is a really good resource for that. Teasing out more career options. A lot of those websites like careers.gov.nz doesn't have all the career options. So if we find that we could be a good fisherman, let's tease out some more options. What skills do fishermen have? What do fishermen usually like or enjoy? And we come up with a type of personality, and we'll find that there's a lot of other things that they could also do. So we're really exploring, we're being creative, we're mind mapping, we're coming up with options. And there's even an entrepreneur circle, which is often missed out in a lot of the job lists. Okay, now it's time to start narrowing down and making some decisions. Students might have a good list of ideas. They're going to need to do a few things to get a few career possibilities. They might need to do some visioning. What does it look like? What are the reasons that it's a good fit? What are the challenges? What are the resources? So all that background work we've done with the connection resources, with the skills resources, that should start coming into play now from all the storytelling. Decisions and actions they'll have to make if they're going to reach their vision. So this is where we start making our way forward, some specific decisions and actions. And finally, if we come to a point where it's difficult to make a choice between about 2 or 3 careers or more, and we need to narrow it down to 3, Amundsen and Goddard describe the 2 or 3 chair active engagement approach. So this is inspired by Gestalt therapy 2-chair technique, and it's an active engagement activity where the coachee really takes on the perspective of what it's like to be in that job. They get up and they sit in that chair and they start talking about, and with the coach's help, what are they doing once they're there? How did they get there? And then there's a moderator chair. That's what's 3 chairs. And they go and they sit in the moderator chair, and it's especially good when we don't have access to whānau because we're in school time maybe, and they can take a whānau perspective. What would your whānau say about you having this job? What would they say are the advantages and disadvantages? And this is really important because Māori, Pacific and Indigenous cultures don't make career decisions based on an individualist worldview. So whānau community help to identify these aptitudes, interests, needs and temperaments. The journey continues. So emphasising, so this is a self-coaching tool because we're making really explicit to our coachees that it's a cyclical thing. Careers and career choices is a journey. It's not linear. And we could finish off with Poland's apt question: do mazes have ends? No, they don't. They have corners. So making career decisions and careers themselves are a journey. They're not linear. And we need to constantly go back, reflect, set more goals, maybe change goals, take steps, overcome challenges, and revise goals. Ngā mihi. These are my references. Kia ora.